Angel, part 3. Let's watch part 3. Okay, Angel. Okay, smile, Angel. Smile. Angel, where are you? Okay, smile. Show your teeth.
Continued, and this is the reason why other popes are being beatified and canonized as saints, but Pius is not. And in many ways, he was more dramatically courageous and Christian than some of the, I hate to rank and compare one to the other.
Yes, we know what you're thinking.
But I also wanted to say that the situation now is such that I was going to set into context what you said. The Vatican did not establish diplomatic relations in 1948 when Israel was created, 3 years after the Second World War, until 1993. So that was 45 years. And people were critical of the Vatican, but in all those years, the Christian communities in the Arabic countries needed to be served. This is what you said. I'm just repeating what you said. Because if you don't have access to your Christian communities in Iraq, in Syria, in other Arabic and Muslim countries, they could be in difficulty. You need to represent them and help them. You can't just abandon them. And it was set up in such a way that as the Vatican was, they were told through diplomatic channels, if you do this and you immediately recognize Israel, you're going to have problems diplomatically in our countries. So they waited.
That's right.
But you gave a clear explanation also of how useful it was for the Vatican to have these relations, and they helped the American hostages in Iran with your friend, Archbishop Hilarion.
Well, Robert, it's that simple. Archbishop Hilarion Capucci. It was Jimmy Carter who contacted Pope Paul VI. Was it Paul VI? No, I take that back. John Paul the.
It might have been the end of. I think it was. I guess it was John Paul II had been elected in the fall of.
Yes, it had to have been. It had to have been.
It had to have been. Yeah.
Yeah, 79. That's exactly right. Well, but it was Carter who phoned the Pope and pleaded for his help because the Vatican had diplomatic relations with Iran and the United States did not.
Yeah. So,
and I mean, this is where a lot of things are done, but you brought up the more important part. There are Christian Catholic communities in all of these countries that need protection, and they're protected by an awful lot by diplomacy. If you get rid of that, these people are on their own.
Now, there's two things I wanted to say. I want to ask our producer, Matt Gaspers, if he could post up here the San Lorenzo bombing and Pius going from the Vatican a couple of miles across Rome within minutes after hearing of the bombing, and raise the question again, why were the Allies bombing Rome? Why were the Allies bombing Rome? Can we get the figure? I think it was perhaps as many as 7,000 Romans were killed. I'm not sure of it, though. I'd like to see.
There was no real reason to bomb Rome. What they claimed they were doing was bombing the Stazione Termini, the train station. Mm-hmm. That's what they were looking for. But the bombs hit the Vatican. I'm telling you, they hit the city.
See, what I'm telling you is that I never actually, until this moment, knew that they hit the Vatican as well. But what you're giving us an insight into is something very sinister. These Western powers had not made a clear agreement with the Vatican, we will protect you and help. Well, they were putting pressure on them in some way, or at least ignoring their concerns, saying you're just part of a battle and we're going to bomb near you.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And so I'm kind of disappointed in the British and American leadership at that time. And I think there may be in that history things we still don't even know of what the threats were. And let's see.
And the real motivation, San Lorenzo bombing, right? There's Pius XII, and there is Pius XII in the middle of people who had just lost their homes, had lost loved ones. As you say, thousands of people were killed at that. Mother Pascualina had in Monte Mario, in the place that she built, the cassock he wore on display was all blood stained.
Well, that's incredible. What you have seen and touched yourself in your life, Father, and I a bit myself, is that you've touched the Pope Pius XII himself with Mother Pascualina, who was at his side. And you know really firsthand what he went through. So these pictures we're seeing is something that's incredible photos. What is this? How could they take photos of these bombs? It must be from the American or British aircraft.
It's from the American surveillance, yes.
So Rome was bombed. There was a threat that maybe more bombing would occur. We don't know what the pieces of the debate were, but a phone call was made that involved Roosevelt, involved Churchill, and the Vatican said stop. And you advised us, Father, that the Pope himself said, I'll go out there and I'll be in danger or probably be killed by the bombing. And I can just add one other little personal anecdote myself. Pius XII was very close to a man named Count Enrico Galeazzi.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Enrico Galeazzi was a nobleman in Rome, and he also was connected in some way with the Knights of Columbus.
Very much so.
And the Knights of Columbus had a magazine called Columbia, and I was studying history, medieval history at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, and the Knights of Columbus had their headquarters there in a big tall building in New Haven. Sure. And I went over and I said, I'm going to go over to Italy and start going to the Vatican archives and studying the Franciscan, the early history of the Franciscan order, which was also something Joseph Ratzinger had studied. His dissertation was on the theology of history in St. Bonaventure. And I said, can I write something for you and make a little money if I go to Italy? He said, I'd like you to, the editor, Elmer von Felt, this is, I think, 1984. This is 40 years ago, as I speak to you tonight. And Elmer said, go, and here is the phone number and address of Count Enrico Galeazzi. Go talk to him. And I did.
Is that right? Wow.
And I went to his palace, which was behind the American embassy to Rome there on Via Veneto.
Right, right.
And then he took me over to the North American College. He said, I built this. The North American College, where hundreds and hundreds and now thousands of American seminarians have studied, was built by Count Enrico Galeazzi. And there's a bust of him there next to the chapel. But he was, some say, the closest friend of Pope Pius XII, besides Mother Pascualina. And I asked, he said, Pius XII sent me to America twice, just on the vigil of the war and during the war. And I spoke with Roosevelt personally and came back and told him. So Enrico Galeazzi was kind of an agent, in a sense, on the highest possible level.
Certainly.
And he lived in the 50s. He built the North American College. He was involved with the Knights of Columbus. He knew Cardinal Spellman very well. And in the 60s and 70s, he got older. I met him in 84. Into 85, and he died, I believe, 1986. So I, by pure chance, touched the life of Pius XII, the life of Rome in the Second World War, the diplomatic negotiations between the Vatican and Roosevelt, myself. And to be back here tonight with you in 2024, with your relationship with Mother Pascualina, on the 16th of October, the day the Jews were rounded up in Rome, but also the day the Jews were given hospitality by the church throughout the city, to me seems almost providential that we are still a voice. We've still seen and understood things through our own lives. We're not dead yet. We can speak about things. We can defend Pius XII, even if very carefully woven stories are now attacking him, accusing him, denouncing him, preventing him from being considered a holy man and a saint. And I wanted to say these things just before we ended our program.
Well, Robert, I think that's beautiful. We've had a beautiful program, and I think that what you said from Arroyo, Raymond Arroyo, The first quote you gave.
That was one of our viewers. Yeah.
Oh, it was one of the viewers. Well, I thought that quote was beautiful. Maybe, what was it? After examining all the evidence, the question isn't did he do enough, Pius XII, but rather, was there anyone else who did more? And the answer is a resounding no. Pius XII did the most of any human being on earth alive at that time. And I applaud him. I also pray to God through him. He's my patron saint, Pius XII. I don't care if he's canonized or not. He's certainly in heaven. Did I tell you that I read the letter that Padre Pio wrote about Pius XII?
No, you've never mentioned that.
When Pius XII died, a month or so after his death, he wrote Mother Pasqualina a letter. I saw the letter. She had it. She had 2 letters, as a matter of fact, where Padre Pio was saying Mass at about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And the server that was serving his Mass behind him, in the Tridentine Mass, of course, saw him just freeze, just stop. And he held onto the altar for 5 minutes and didn't proceed. And the friar went up to see if there was something wrong with it. And then he came out of it. And during Mass, he had had a vision of Pius XII entering heaven. He wrote that down. And he said to Mother Pasqualina, and he sent this to Mother Pasqualina, and she read the letter to me. It was a beautiful letter. How he entered, the procession, how he entered. Pius IX was waiting for him at the top, and the Assumption, Mary Assunta, was waiting for both of them to come up higher. And he describes the whole thing. Mother Pasqualina wrote back and she said, that I'm moved to tears at such a beautiful vision that you had during Mass. He saw this. She said, there's only one problem. You say you saw this at 4:30 in the morning. The Holy Father died at 1:30. There's a discrepancy. And he wrote back a second letter and he said, woman, I'm talking about when his soul entered heaven, not when he stopped breathing. You saw when he stopped breathing. I saw when he entered heaven. Anyway, Pius XII to me is, I've taken him always, all my life as a personal patron saint. And he is. Great man, a great man. And this was a great show, Robert. I think so.
Sam is writing, thank you, Father. Pope Pius XII, a saint in my heart, no matter what the bureaucracy thinks. Ora pro nobis. That means pray for
Amen.
us.
Beautiful. Robert, I think we should wrap this up. What do you think?
Yeah. Thanks to everyone. Please tell other people about us. Join us again next week. Please like us. That helps us. That gives a kind of algorithm on YouTube that makes us more easily accessible to others. Oh, Daniel Watt.
And those who are just thinking about it should stop thinking and act. Subscribe to Inside the Vatican magazine.
That would be great. It's great to be with you, Father. I think we're going to see each other in another few days. I'm going to come to Spain with a pilgrim group, and we're going to see you.
Looking forward to it. You know that. God love you, Robert. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Come with us on a unique...
Angel, you like the story, Angel? Pope Pius XII, Angel. Okay, Angel, where are you? Don't hide. Okay, this is very nice. The host is Dr. Robert Monahan and Father Charles Murr. Okay, so, okay, Angel, where are you? Okay, don't hide. Show your teeth, Angel. Show your teeth. Okay, bye-bye now, Angel. Okay. So we need to go to heaven, Angel. Okay, bye-bye. Baby, Angel.